what? Excuse me for being a little bit unprofessional right now, but that's just the kind of behavior that the BMW M2 brings out of me. And you know what? I think you'd react the same way if you've got a stretch of open road, this Beamer, and, I don't know, a Pulse. But let me be frank, this car is awesome. It's fast, it's loud, it's gorgeous, and it all costs under $55,000. It's practically impossible to find a better performance car at that price point. Not only that, but this BMW M2 is a return to form for the BMW M division. Let's start with the way this car looks. Now, usually I don't spend too much time talking about the design of a vehicle, but there's just something about this car that captures the attention of every single car enthusiast. I think it's that long hood, short deck, rear-wheel drive proportions that really looks elegant. But you know what? This car has even more than just that. I mean, take a look at these exaggerated wheel fenders that hide this car's wider track. And take a look at these crazy origami-looking air intakes in the front bumper. Not only does that help keep the car cool, but it also routes air around the car for better aerodynamics. And around back, there's the signature M tailpipes that sound great. And I know there's a lot of sound being piped into the cabin, but you know what? You can hear this car from the outside, and it sounds great. The best part about this car is that BMW enhanced every single part of this vehicle, unlike the M235i, which just felt like an engine upgrade. There's more power under the hood, there's better brakes and tires at all four corners, and there's a fancy trick differential to help keep all that power on the ground. Those M touches make their way into the car as well. The seats and steering wheel have this beautiful contrasting stitching, and there's Alcantara trim in the door panels. Sure, there are a few cheap plastic parts, like here by the door handle and under the handbrake, but in general this car feels very premium inside. But the one thing that'll catch your attention is this open pore carbon fiber trim. To keep you in place while driving aggressively, the car features adjustable bolsters. And in order to keep injuries down while tracking this car, there's actually a padded area by the center console, so you don't hurt your knees. If you think that sounds ridiculous or goofy, then I have just not made it clear how fast this car is. Under the hood is a 6-cylinder turbocharged engine that makes 365 horsepower. And there's even more torque. Peak torque is 369 thanks to an overboost function, and that arrives under 1500 RPM. 60 miles per hour comes in at under 4.5 seconds. That's faster than a Porsche Cayman S. In fact, that's closer to a Porsche 911. Now, if all you care about is going fast, then you have to get this 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. As you can hear and see, it fires off shifts unbelievably quick, and it's very refined. I would definitely take this over the DCT and the CLA 45 AMG. The only downside to this transmission is the $2,900 price tag and the weird fact that you can't seem to put it into park while it's on. But there's a little something extra that BMW is offering for all the enthusiasts out there who wrote them off. An honest-to-goodness 6-speed manual transmission. That's right, you can get this thing with a manual. A high-performance car with a manual is really rare these days, so it's really cool that BMW is offering it this way. Helping put all of this power to the ground is a clever limited slip differential. This does two very important things. It helps sort out all of the power going to the rear wheel so that you have excellent traction. The other thing it does is it locks up the two wheels so that in theory you can make some pretty badass smoke shows. Now I'm going to be the responsible journalist and let you imagine what that looks like, but take my word for it, it's pretty awesome. All isn't perfect. The M2 doesn't have an adjustable suspension setup, and as a result, the sport suspension that it does have is very stiff. Fortunately, this means that the weight of the car is kept down, but you may end up cursing at a few of the bumpy roads that you commute on. There are some adjustable driving modes that change the transmission, traction control, and steering, and that brings up another concern I have with the car. The steering, while well weighted, just doesn't provide any feedback, and that's critical in a performance car like this. These are the only small concerns I have with the M2, and once you get this thing on the open road, it's all smiles. The car blasts off with every nudge of the gas pedal and can come to a stop just as quickly. In fact, I love these brakes. Not only are they painted in this gorgeous shade of blue, but they've been track tested on the Nürburgring, which is probably why they're huge. There isn't a thing this M2 is missing. In fact, I think this car has something that a lot of new M cars just don't have, and that's a personality. You see, all those other cars try to be both sporty and luxurious, while this car is just uncompromised speed. It's just a fun, fast, agile rear-wheel drive coupe, and at $55,000, it's a bargain too. If you think BMW has lost their way, then the M2 is proof that the company still knows what it takes to put a huge smile on your face. And if you still don't believe me, well, check this out.